Okay. Good morning, students. So I'll start with the last topic of mobile IP, and that is route optimization. Okay. We'll see why a route that is there for packet delivery in mobile IP needs to be optimized. So let's see if you can answer for yourselves. If you can find out the reason why the packet delivery route needs to be optimized. So if you look at this diagram, this is the diagram that you have seen for a packet delivery in a mobile network or your wireless network. Can you identify among these entities here? There are various entities: correspondent node, router, home network, home agent, foreign network, okay, mobile node. Which of these entities will be always involved in the communication? By always I mean is if the mobile node is present in the home network or the foreign network, which is that entity in this diagram that will be overloaded with packets, or which always needs to deal with packets. Which entity do you think will be involved in always dealing with the packets in the communication between the correspondent node and the mobile node? Okay, identify just one entity if you can, based on what we have studied. If the mobile node is in the home network, which is the main entity involved in the routing of the packet, and if the mobile node goes to a foreign network, then which is that entity which will be involved in that packet routing. So it will be the same entity that is involved in the routing. Can you identify which entity it is in this diagram? You can type your answers in the chat box. Yeah, correct. So all of you who have typed the home agent, yes, the home agent will be always be involved in the communication, in the routing of packets. So for example, if your packet is in the home, your mobile node is in the home network, the CN will send a packet, okay, which will go through its router to the internet to the home agent. The home agent checks whether MN is present here. If MN is present here, home agent will forward the packet to the mobile node here. Okay. In case your mobile node moves to the foreign network, like it is shown here in the diagram, then also the home agent is involved in the communication. CN will send a packet through the router to the home agent. The home agent then identifies that MN is no longer present in the home network, but is gone to some foreign network and forwards the packet to the COA. So the home agent is basically the common entity in both the types of packet routing, when MN is in the home network and when MN is present in the foreign network. Okay. So now if we could eliminate the need for this home agent, okay, unnecessarily we are forwarding the packet along this route from CN to router to internet to home agent. Okay. So this home agent is getting overloaded with packets. So instead of having the home agent involved in all the communications, if we could have a direct communication between CN to MN, wherever MN goes, the CN sends the packet directly through the internet to the COA of the MN. If that is possible, then the home agent's load will be reduced. Okay, it will stop being overloaded. So basically that is what we are going to discuss in today's lecture: how to optimize the packet routing. Okay, so that communication between the CN and MN happens more efficiently without overloading the home agent. Is it okay? So any doubts still here? Did you all get it? What we are trying to do today? Okay, I'll continue. So this is our topic today. So you can just read. This is what we have discussed till now. So this is that point that we were discussing, that every packet that is sent by CN is received by the HA. Okay. So whether your MN is present in the home network or MN is present in the foreign network, the packet will be received by the HA. And if MN is present in foreign network, then HA will send it to the foreign agent. Okay. So because the HA keeps receiving all the packets, it leads to traffic overhead. Okay. So we can solve it, but the traffic overhead problem can be solved. So there are different ways of solving. So let's look at it in the next slide. So one way to solve is, whenever MN moves to a foreign network, you directly notify the corresponding host. Corresponding host means corresponding node, CN. Okay. Then once you have done that notification, you can make a tunnel directly from the CN to in the diagram of packet delivery, we had learned that tunneling was done from the home agent to the foreign agent. But now we can do the tunneling directly from the correspondent node to the mobile node. By mobile node, we mean to the care of address. Okay. And the binding cache. Now what is binding? Binding means associating the mobile node's address with the care of address. Okay. Please note it down in your book somewhere. What do you mean by binding? Binding means associating the home address. Home address means the address of the mobile node. So associating that home address of the mobile node with the care of address, that is known as binding. So one list of binding addresses could be kept at the correspondent node itself, and it could be kept in the cache memory so that it can be retrieved quickly. Okay. So instead of maintaining this binding at a home agent, you maintain the binding at the correspondent node. So there are three ways you can solve it. This is basically the same based on your key mechanisms that we have studied. Okay. So I'll just repeat. First is, when the mobile node goes to a foreign network, the correspondent node is notified. Second is, you establish the tunnel from the correspondent node to the mobile node. And third is, you maintain the binding cache at the corresponding node. Okay. Now, to do all of this mentioned solutions, we have some messages that need to be exchanged. Okay, between the entities involved in the communication, in the routing of packets. Okay, so let's look in the next slide at that. So basically, these are the messages that are involved in this process. The first message is binding request. Okay, then binding acknowledgement, binding update, and binding warning. Okay, let's go through this one by one. By the way, these four messages, the description is given on page 83 in your textbook. Okay, Prashant Kumar Patnaik, and I've shared that PDF with you all, so you can go through the description there. Okay, so I'll just explain you how this works based on your packet delivery diagram. Now, when your MN is gone to a foreign network, okay, suppose you want the CN to know, the CN wants to know the location of the MN. Okay, CN wants to know the current location of the MN. Then it will make use of one message known as the binding request. Okay, so what is that message name? Binding request. So what binding request message is? It tells the CN the current location of the MN. Okay, it tells the CN the current location of the MN. And this binding request message is sent by the CN to the home agent. Okay, so this binding request message is sent by the CN to the home agent. And what is the purpose of the binding request message? To know the current location of the mobile node. Okay, then in reply to this binding request message, the home agent can reply with a binding update message. Okay, so what the home agent can reply with is something known as a binding update message. What the binding update message contains is, now this is a reply to the binding request. So what this binding update will contain is, it's a message from the home agent to the correspondent node. Okay, so home agent will send this message to the correspondent node, and this message contains the IP address of this MN. Okay, it contains the IP address of the MN and also the care of address of the MN. Okay, so understood. So if the correspondent node wants to know the location of the mobile node, it sends binding request. In reply to the binding request, home agent will send binding update. So what binding update contains? IP address of MN and care of address. Okay, this binding update message can ask for an acknowledgement. Okay, can ask for a acknowledgement. So what this correspondent node will do is, it will send one third type of a message known as a binding acknowledgement. So in order to tell that it has received this binding update message, it will send a third type of message known as a binding acknowledgement. So what is binding acknowledgement will be? To tell the home agent that it has received the binding update message. It acknowledges that it has received the binding update message. Okay, so these are three types of messages, and there is also a fourth one. So all these messages are basically to establish a direct connection between the mobile node and the correspondent node. Okay, so as you remember, we had always discussed that when a mobile node goes to a foreign network, the correspondent node is not aware of the mobile node's location. Okay, it never is aware of it, the current location. It just keeps sending its data to the home agent, and the home agent's responsibility is to reroute the packet correctly depending on where the mobile node is present. Okay, so if the correspondent node wants to reduce, or we want to optimize the traffic on the home agent, we want to reduce the traffic overhead on the home agent, then these are the three messages. So the mobile correspondent node will send a binding request message, the home agent will reply with a binding update message, and then acknowledge with the binding acknowledgement. Once this is done, the CN and the MN can start talking or communicating directly with each other. Okay, it can start communicating directly. So a path can be opened between the CN and the COA, and all the messages can be sent directly. Okay, now there's a fourth message known as binding warning. Okay, there's a fourth message known as a binding warning. So in binding warning, what happens is, when the foreign agent gets a packet, you know that the foreign agent does decapsulation. Okay, so when it suppose this MN was present here in the foreign network. Okay, but after some time this MN moves from here, it is no longer here. it has moved from here. And say the foreign agent has decapsulated a packet, and it finds that this decapsulated packet is intended for this mobile node. Okay, but this mobile node which was present previously has moved out. Okay, has gone somewhere else. Either it's gone back to the home network or it's gone to some other foreign network, but it has received a packet for a mobile node that was previously there in its network. Okay, so since this MN has moved out, the foreign agent will not find an entry for this MN in its table. Okay, it will not find an entry for this table. So in this case, the foreign agent will send one message, a binding warning message to the home agent telling that the MN is no longer present within its network. Okay, so what is the binding warning message? Binding warning message is sent by the foreign agent when it receives a message for a MN. Okay, and that MN is no longer present in that foreign network. So that is when a binding warning message is sent by the foreign agent to the home agent. Is it clear? So these are the 4 types of messages that are exchanged between all the entities involved in mobile IP in order to optimize the communication or to optimize the traffic overhead on the home agent. Okay, so basically we want to reduce the traffic overhead on the home agent. The rest of the communication works in a similar way how it has been discussed previously. Okay, if we do not optimize, it will work similarly, and that's it. Yeah, so in today's lecture, basically this is what I wanted to tell you, okay, about how we optimize the traffic in mobile IP. Okay, so the main reason we optimize, I told you what is the main reason we need to optimize, because the traffic on the home agent is lots. If the home agent has to keep dealing with the packet sent by CN. That is why we need to reduce the traffic overhead if possible on the home agent. And then we have discussed the different ways in which we can do that. So these are the different ways. One was, the first thing is you enable the notification whenever the MN is moving to a foreign network. The MN informs the corresponding host. Then we establish a direct tunnel, and then we maintain the binding cache at the correspondent host itself instead of the home agent. Okay, by binding cache, I hope you have understood. This is what we had discussed in the previous lecture, the registration part. Okay, so registration, we were registering the care of address with the home agent. So instead of registering the care of address with the home agent, now they say you register the care of address directly with the, you can register with the correspondent node, so that the packets can be sent directly by the correspondent node to the care of address instead of sending it to the home agent, and then the home agent will send to the care of address. So do you all have any doubts about these 4 types of messages?